Hi, ho everyone. My name is Mr. Fruit, and welcome back to the GG Over Easy podcast. In today's episode, we discuss Black Panther briefly. Blue watched it, no spoilers. We discuss Rob testing positive. Initial thoughts on Sonic Frontier because Rob played it. Initial impressions as well. Rob and I with the new God of War. Spoilers. It's sick. Twitter drama with Elon. What's that boy up to? League of Legends Worlds.
We talked stocks
Sick.
a little bit today.
We talked stocks.
Crypto drama.
All the drama. Questions and answers. And so much more.
I forgot to talk about it. There's a new content drop this week. You guys should go to contentmerch.gg and find out more about it.
And now you know. It? We'll find out soon. In the meantime.
It's Astrocross. I said it.
What the?
Who could it?
Well, because I didn't say it in the episode. They would just sit there the whole time, not knowing.
Oh, yeah, true. They're like,
well, that's actually very fair.
Fair play.
Congrats on the new content drop, Rob.
And stay tuned.
And now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match you with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless search for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/GG. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/GG. Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this podcast. With the crazy time that holiday season brings around, it's the perfect time to plan ahead with Factor, a ready-to-eat meal delivery. They shop, prep, cook, and deliver to your door so you can enjoy chef-crafted, delicious meals during the holidays, minus the hassle. Head to go.factor75.com/GG60 and use code GG60 to get 60% off your first box. That's code GG60 at go.factor75.com/GG60 to get 60% off your first box. The holidays are almost here, and there is plenty of t-shirt cheer thanks to our sponsor, True Classic Tees. True Classic has already helped over 2 million men look and feel great in their tees, and now you can save big while you do so. Get 25% off at trueclassic.com/GG. Free shipping included on purchases over $100. That's 25% off at trueclassic.com/GG. Santa won't be the only one slaying thanks to True Classic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the GG Over Easy podcast, episode 157.
57.
We've
made up since the last episode.
The 3-year threshold.
And Blue's back. We've all made up from our Dream Team drama.
Yeah.
And what was that drama? You'll have to watch episode 165.5. But that's deep in the vault. You know, I don't know if you guys will ever have access to that. So who knows? But what I do know is that we're all here together today.
Y'all see how faked up Rob is right now for video chat? Never mind. Go on.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're missing out on the cake.
I am in gray sweatpants. That does.
Yeah, that's all right. You gotta get comfy. Day one of New World, I threw on the sweatpants.
It was just so funny because I have you guys up, and I just see out of the corner of my eye just ass. No figure. You know, no back, no leg, just ass.
Hey, I tell you what, man. Like, I've been having some lower back issues that I swear to God I thought were kidney stones. Still might be kidney stones, but
that doesn't sound right.
Like I feel like they're like sharp pains on my lower back every now and then, and I was like,
Rob's medical corner. A bunch of things.
Who
knows what's wrong with Rob? Round 87.
And today's.
But, you know, I realized your back isn't just your spine. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like it goes to the sides too. You know, it like expands to the sides.
It goes.
What did you think it was before?
I thought it was kidney stones. Like I thought, like I was having like.
No, I mean like if you thought the back was only your spine, yeah. What was the rest of your back? What do you think it was?
Like ribs, like they were just back rib, like back rib, like. You know what I mean? Like
me and Fruit are like fighting for our lives.
Or just like muscle, like just like a muscle, like a
doing everything we can. Yeah, I do cardio and I gain weight. Fruit does anything, he breaks 5 things. Rob, there's just like 8 million things wrong with me, but like, you know, I'm still pumping.
I haven't worked out in a minute, and I got the vid. If you can kind of tell, I sound a little diddy.
Did you? Oh, they wish you the best.
Yeah.
Did you test positive?
Mm-hmm. Took a little rapid. Yeah.
Well, hey, GZ.
Easy.
I'm telling you, I never tested positive, but
You're the one.
a couple
You're one
weeks
of those.
ago. Well, no, but like a couple weeks ago, I'm like convinced. Like, I even went in and we did like a test actually in the thing, and that came back negative. But she was like, it's either COVID or some other viral thing going around right now, and it certainly presented everything as the vid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I either got that or whatever other monkey.
Influenza
thing is out there.
Z727Q.
I think it's so hard with COVID because like you literally know like I think the big thing for me for COVID that was just totally different was just the incredibly just my headache was the worst headache I've ever had because I felt like I was constantly hit by a COD stun grenade for a whole day. I was like
Just the ringing.
like that was my headspace. So I hope you don't get that, Rob. And honestly,
We're
who
wishing you
knows?
the best.
With how many flus there've been around, who knows what has been through our bodies at this point?
Well, I
'Cause
mean,
I certainly don't.
it's like it's just very casual. Shout out vaccines.
Keep it cash.
It's just
Yeah,
like a
casual
little
COVID.
little throat, little nose.
He's doing unranked COVID right now.
like
by the way, so
lethargic.
Don't worry about
You
it.
know? So I mean, and it doesn't help that like I smoke still. You know, not help my throat. Like
Are you
relax. Yeah.
I hate
Just an addict. Just an addict. Yeah.
literally my friends too. Discord homies, not Texas because I can't smoke in Texas Edge, but
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, I got the flu. Oh, well, that sucks. Yeah, it's not getting that much better. Well, are you smoking?
would that be?
Yeah, huh? That's crazy that putting shit in your lungs when your lungs are already going through it is not helping.
Not the greatest, but you know, bitches love
Tend
Sosa.
to be shocked.
God damn it.
I want to go home, man.
But
Dude,
hey, but you know what sucks? I had tickets to Black Panther yesterday, but I didn't go
Well,
because
and you couldn't make them.
yeah, obviously.
Well, you couldn't cancel them.
Well, I saw the tickets were free. So like, cause like I'm part of
okay,
like the Cinemark movie club thing where it's like you pay like $8 a month and every month you get one free movie ticket. And me and Sydney haven't been to the movies since Minions: The Rise of Gru. So
a true classic.
so we got
Yeah.
6 of them bitches all lined up.
Pioneer.
And so I used those, and it specifically says like when you use those, you don't get refunded for anything.
Yeah, you can't just sell
So I was
them
like, "Ah."
for profit.
And like we tried to find friends here that would take them, but nobody did. So, and they were the best seats too, dude. In the theater, like you know how there's like 2 like corner seats that is just like on the top of the corner movie. At least at some theaters, those were the seats. Yeah, very unfortunate. And like I wanted to see Black Panther. Like kind of excited
Same.
for it.
Same. Like this is probably the only Marvel movie I was like, don't fuck this up.
Well, okay, so we can start with that. This will be spoiler free for anyone watching
Yeah.
because I haven't seen it. So I'm curious. Blue, you're the only one. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm the only scene. Okay. I will say I'm sure a lot of people will not vibe as hard with it as they did the first one. But I have to say, like, given the circumstances, I don't think they could have done a better job.
That's good to hear. I mean, because they were dealt a fucking really
Yeah,
shitty
you were
hand,
dealt the
like-
worst thing that could have
Possible.
possibly happened to your series, you know, and so I really liked it. Obviously, there were some problems. There's a little bit, you know, there was a little bit of.
Every Marvel movie has those kind of
There's a little bit of all right.
suspend your belief
know,
type of thing.
A little bit of my suspension of disbelief, even for a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Was like, okay, there's
Yeah,
a couple
right.
moments where I was like, all right, it's a little over the top, but you know, I'll vibe with it. But I thought it was a really, really good movie. I thought, considering everything, it was. I truly don't think they could have done a better job, given the hand they were dealt. And I also thought it was a really good tribute to Chadwick. So
Good.
I really liked it. I would give it a solid, I would say like 8.5. It was
that is
Out of
genuinely
100?
no, dude. I give it a. I thought it was a genuinely
Yeah.
very very good movie.
That's good. Like even outside of the Marvel realm of movies, like, it was a good movie.
Yeah, I thought it was genuinely just like Black Panther. I thought it was a genuinely good movie, not just a good superhero movie. I thought it was a genuinely good movie.
Well,
Yeah. So
they'll still have to try and one up Killmonger for me. So and so far, honestly,
It's
I
a
don't really
Landis dude, right? Like,
well, I don't
more
think really any villain since him has really like gotten me the same way.
Thanos.
No.
Well, Thanos was
Well,
already
Thanos
introduced
is
by then anyway.
Thanos
but
is cheap. Cause the whole series, he's the whole villain of every MC, but like a general like MCU to MCU villain, like
I'm excited for the Ant-Man movie. That movie looks sick. That looks like the one that's gonna get it kind of going again.
every time I see talk about movies regarding Ant-Man, I just see pictures of what's his name?
Come on, Blue, work with me here.
Well, whatever.
Paul Rudd?
He's King the Conqueror.
Oh, John.
Oh.
I think it's like Jonathan something.
the guy
I just
from
see pictures of him absolutely fucking shredded, and people are like,
Step on
"Rest
Me,
in
Daddy."
peace, Ant-Man. Rest in peace." I never see him in anything else, but just in like, just gym shorts, fucking absolutely ripped out of his mind, and people being like, "Rip MCU, dude. Like they had a good run. Like there ain't no way they're
How much
winning.
they can do. How much
Ain't
they
no
can
way
do.
y'all are winning this."
So
dumb.
Did you see Black Adam, Blue?
Also, Black Adam. Yeah, I finally.
I was gonna say, did you like it more than Black Adam?
Oh yeah, for
Okay.
sure. I mean, of all the recent MC like Marvel anything, I would say it's probably like tied with, as far as like recent like over the past year. I would say Miss Marvel and Wakanda Forever are like definitely top two. I mean, to be fair, past like year and a half, Marvel hasn't exactly been high art, so.
They've been struggling. But it sounds like this could be the start too.
I was watching the Thor movie on the plane. I got halfway through it. I got to the point where his clothes get blown off. Like, oh, wow, wow, wow.
So you got it for free. Well, at least you got it for free. I mean,
Yeah,
even
like,
then,
I didn't
you
pay
probably
for it,
got ripped
like-
off.
I didn't think it was terrible, but it definitely, you could tell it was trying a little too hard in spot. But I didn't get to see the ending. I thought Christian Bale's character was.
Yeah. Well, I think Christian Bale kind of was like the redeeming. And I feel bad for him
wasted
because
still, despite
Yeah,
him caring, still got wasted.
Can we talk about Thor spoiler? Because there's something funny I thought about that movie. It's been out
It's
for
pretty-
a while, right?
It's pretty far removed.
I just thought it was funny. Jane's like, I have cancer, and then like walks to the hammer and it's like, I have this now. But I get it, like,
This is my number.
protects her type of thing.
something like that.
But it's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, for sure. But
Are you gonna say fruit?
what the fudge was I gonna say?
About
But I
Thor.
think, yeah, part of it too is I think just like the send off for her character, Butner. But it was like that moment with her whole arc in that part of the film reminded me of just like the power creep in animes when like, you know, you're sitting there and you're like, wow, this used to be like 4 seasons and this dude just powered up in an episode. That's kind of how about like she just got all the stuff it took Thor and she's like better than Thor already, and this dude's been an Asgard god for how long? It felt like one of those things. But granted, we've also talked about it.
So I'm
the
excited to
power
see it
curve
when
is-
I'm uncovided. I think that's what they call it.
Probably would be about the same experience.
I gonna try and see it. I think tomorrow. But what did you think mainly though of that? The actor that is now like still Black Panther. Like she replaced the mantle or whatever.
What you mean, Guy?
Like,
I
did
mean,
you
what-
enjoy her
what did you
performance?
think
I
of her?
think.
I thought everyone's performance was I will say, nah, I'm not gonna give away too much. I thought everyone did really good given the circumstance. There was still moments where I was like, this is like, I don't know about this, but it was mostly because I know that, oh well, like they like what else are they supposed to do? Type beat, you know what I mean?
That's
So
fair.
I don't know, I really enjoyed it, like front to back. I thought performances were pretty good. There's some stuff that felt like kind of like throw it in because they had to throw it in, and that definitely affected some performances. Um, but I kind of went in there expecting that.
Pardon your regularly scheduled podcast listening for this short ad break.
And now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. When I'm dealing with things like stress and burnout, it's easy to dwell on those things rather than think about solutions to fixing those problems. During my time with BetterHelp, they were able to show me what solutions actually looked like so I could focus on solutions rather than just fixating on the problem itself. When I was with BetterHelp, they did nothing but listen and also were nothing but professional the entire time. If you're thinking about giving therapy, give it a try. BetterHelp is a great option. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match you with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless search for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/GG. That's betterhelp, HELP.com/GG. Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this podcast.
It's gonna feel like whenever because you missed us talking about it, whenever the other Hemsworth replaces Henry as Geralt. Like, there's just no way that that's just gonna be like, oh yeah, that was fine.
But did you see like the new Netflix series that they're doing with The Witcher? It's like completely separate from like The Witcher, it seems. But it's like still takes place in the Witcher world.
Oh, rip that franchise on TV.
Let
I
me
don't know why they're doing that.
let me find what it was called. Like the official account had like tweeted like a
They're like, we're getting Henry back for this one. This one.
prepare for a new adventure that takes place 1,200 years before the time of The Witcher. Blood Origin
Oh,
premieres
okay,
of 25th of December. The Witcher Blood Origin.
Oh, I think it's live action too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah, we heard about that a while ago. I don't know. Maybe that one will be a little more redeeming than. Well, they lost Geralt, man. They lost me. All right, I think that's.
Bro, Henry Cavill, perfect Geralt, perfect understanding of everything about The Witcher, and how you lose that. I do respect that Henry Cavill is very like if y'all aren't gonna use me correctly, then just like I'm out.
Peace.
I respect it.
I respect it a lot because he's clearly a very passionate actor and
Well,
anything he does. So
it's not like it was unprecedented. Like, he literally entered and was like, "Yeah, I'll keep going with the show if it feels like we're doing justice to the series and it feels right." So and then he's like, "Yeah, no, we're this. I'm out." It's like exactly what I thought would happen. It's like, girl, come back. You can blame it all on Netflix.
Something that didn't go the way we thought. I mean, kind of did. We hoped it would go this way. Do you think, Christian, as a League of Legends fan, that this was the best League of Legends Worlds ever?
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced.
Ooh, wow.
Because
it was awesome. Like, I hope you guys watched. Like, if like you,
well, some people said like, yeah, you mentioned it or whatever. Like, you said it, so I went back and watched it. Yeah, if you haven't, you should anyway. Bangers. In fact, I would just like stop now so you don't get spoiled if you haven't already. Go watch it and then come back to the podcast.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, just go, dude. Go. What are you doing? Go. The what should we call it?
League of Legends Finals.
Yeah, no, I was. Oh. Well, so normally in Worlds, group stage, always hit or miss, especially because like the way the bracket's made, like at some point, usually even within just a couple games, there's like a team or two where like it's almost impossible. Like it's not happening. They're moving on. So there's a lot of games, especially towards the end, where like this doesn't impact anybody. Why are we still playing this kind of thing?
Yeah.
It's like group stage, usually
More of a formality type of thing. Like you
yeah,
know who's
wanes
coming
down
up.
a little bit. Then you're waiting for groups or elimination bracket. So then the playoffs come, and then usually quarters. There's like some good ones, usually a couple misses. Semis, almost always bangers, and then the finals are typically where, ironically, they've like fallen off the most, which sounds strange, but what ends up happening is like because of the way the brackets are done, and the way they set up their eliminations and stuff, like it just so happens that usually one side of the bracket is usually more stacked, and so as they go up to the top, you almost already know who's going to be in the finals, and 9 times out of 10, there's a semis on one side. And it's like, okay, this is like essentially the world's final because whoever wins this is going to go to the final and then they're going to stop. And almost every time that happens. So you'll get these really good games, but then you get to the finals and it's like a sweep almost like every time or like not that competitive. And it's like, well, that was anticlimactic. But this world's group stage for the most part still.
You know.
There was good matches. Well, like that was the thing. When some of the matches hit, they hit. Like there were some good matches. But then,
anytime
like,
NA played, like
yeah, then there was like every NA and EU game though, practically, and it was like, aside from a couple EU games, it's like, can we just like, can we fast forward? Like, why am I watching ESPN2 right now?
it's
You know,
crazy because like,
what it felt like.
like when we were watching the finals, Sydney was like, "Wait, is this the thing that was still going? Like we were watching during TwitchCon?" I was like, "Yeah, this is like the final game of that." And she goes, "Jesus."
Yeah, as a player, like when they got done with that, like I would just be like, thank God. Like I feel like I'd just be so relieved because yeah, it was like over a month if you like depending on where you started. For DRX, because they went in the play-ins, yeah, it's been like 6 weeks or something. So like just the fatigue you have to imagine they're feeling.
I would never want to play League again. I would just want to go into like the woods for a week.
Just escape.
Be alone.
Just escape. Yeah, just escape.
Well, the funny thing is, so spoilers now, so hopefully
Yeah.
you guys went and watched it. The upset Cinderella story happened, which makes it like even better for most people. Aside from, because leading up, this is like the best narrative / story we've had for like a World's Finals, and DRX came in, and then there's all the anime like storylines and rivals. Yeah, there's so much going on between almost like every player.
And like I didn't realize like you said, I thought the only kind of lore story was between like Deft and Faker, but then there was like one between like the dude who was like crying really hard at the end and like some other dude. Yeah,
the support and the other AD carry, because Kira was SKT support. They lost, and that poor guy broke down like he having a full on just meltdown.
Oh, the shakes,
so.
Like
he's super upset. Yeah, he's sad. He's defeated, and so DRX comes over to like shake their hands and stuff, and Kira finally gets up to hug Deft, the AD carry that won, because years ago they teamed up, and Kira told Deft like together we'll pair up and I'll get you that Worlds win. And then unfortunately, when Deft finally gets the Worlds win, it's on the opposite side of Kira, and in a messed up kind of twisted way, he did get Deft a Worlds win. Just unfortunately, I don't think how Kira.
But what's crazy is like I don't think anybody played necessarily bad. Like there's nobody really to blame for it. At least I didn't think. Like it was just like, oh really?
Well, first off, some of the biggest blame goes to drafting. Especially towards
that's something I don't
4 and 5.
understand. Like, okay, hold on. I'm gonna look at the drafts. Like that's like one thing I don't understand. Like the whole drafting.
Well, and
like what you want and like what you want to build around and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, there's still even a lot of nuance. Like I don't fully understand. Because especially as like a viewer, it's a lot easier to like look at the draft from an outside perspective and see what's happening. And then you also have the casters breaking it down. You're like, oh yeah, like why don't they just do this? But the drafts, especially game 4 and 5, were like just head scratchers, frankly. They let through Aatrox, who, as you know, is just an absolute menace in the top lane this patch. So for all of Worlds, he was 100% pick and or ban. Not a single game he wasn't somehow involved.
Either like somehow involved in like the process of.
Because again, this dude's just like, I don't know why there wasn't even just like a hot fix or something for him. I would have preferred that, but what are you gonna do? Or like going into it, the thing too is like everyone kind of knew Aatrox would be busted, and then the World's patch, they didn't address it. So anyway, Aatrox comes through. He's this top laner, and SKT lets him through twice. Game 4 they let him through, and then game 5. Game 4 they appeared to have a strategy, which some people have done. They let the enemy first pick Aatrox, and then they use a counter pick to like counter in lane Aatrox. Yes.
When you're drafting, you don't necessarily have to draft in order from like top to jungle to middle to bottom to AD carry.
Yeah, no. So that can be like a little confusing to some people because
like the names, like it says Zeus drafted this champion, and then it's like,
and you're like, well, wait a second, I thought he was, the top laner, and why did he pick the support? So yeah, what happens is once draft's done, you can rearrange everything. So you just swap with your teammates, and so that allows more draft flexibility, and also mental games and stuff. So yeah, they let Aatrox through game 4, and I believe it was Fiora. So Zeus goes Fiora to counter the Aatrox.
Is this in game 4?
Yeah. Supposed to be a good, is a good counter for Aatrox. Like it's a well-known counter, counters in lane. So that's the idea. Shut down Aatrox early before he can do much. Don't give him a lot of impact. Don't give the pick a lot of impact. And Zeus goes on to lose the lane pretty handedly.
Zeus is
almost 1v1.
is playing. She's an assassin. Oh, I know this. It's Akali.
In the mid lane, yeah.
No, it's who has the Aatrox? Kingin? Is he the one?
Yeah.
Who, okay.
He's on DRX, absolute Chad.
Oh, and Zeus is on the Fiora.
Yeah, he's SKT's top laner.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that's the whole idea. Faker was on Akali that game.
Now, why does Fiora counter Aatrox?
I mean, that just goes down to a whole bunch of different little micro, like, because it all goes down to champion kits and then in lane specifically, because like, in 1v1s, the way she fights and interacts, there's just like, I couldn't break it down specifically, but like every champ has hard counters.
Okay.
People day hard counters.
Almost like Overwatch, but like at a micro level.
Yeah, just the way the kits interact and all that kind of stuff. So, well-known counter. They do that so that they can kind of shut Kingin down because he's been smurfing, frankly. And Zeus proceeds to pretty much, and I think an almost exclusively 1v1, like there wasn't that much jungle support. Loses lane pretty handedly, and now this Aatrox, he's just sitting there like, let's run. He's like bad. So he gets out of laning phase.
Well, because top lane, like you level up mostly like faster, right? Type of thing, because you have a whole lane to yourself.
Yeah, so that's that in mid laners, because you share XP when in proximity to teammates. So Aatrox even gets like some roams, starts getting kills, and the problem is very snowbally, and it's one of those things where like if Fiora couldn't stop Aatrox or early, Fiora's now useless.
Feast or famine, and the Aatrox was feasting, baby.
Yeah, because if you couldn't shut it down with the counter, and now he's ahead, Fiora's useless. Which, unfortunately, the comp DRX drafted, aside from Aatrox, also just scaled super giga hard. Whereas SKT went for an earlier aggro game, trying to finish it early, take advantage of Aatrox counter to try and end the game and snowball before it gets late game. Well, as soon as Zeus loses that lane, pretty much the entire game plan goes out of plan because again, this Aatrox is a menace, and so for instance, like Faker on a Collie, to be honest, many times it looks like the dude's straight up griefing and inting, but in reality, the poor guy is just trying to make any play possible because every minute that passed, like the percentage chance of SKT winning that game just goes down and down and down. So he's trying to hard force some
Anything.
hopefully mechanical outplays, yeah, to get just a pick or something so that they can try and get a little advantage.
Just something, bro. Make a mistake, bro, please.
And so he was having to force plays, which
that Aatrox skin he uses is sick too. I don't know what it is. It looks like a Gundam type of skin.
It's a mecha Aatrox, yeah, it's sick. So that's essentially what Faker's doing, and everyone was like, "Bro, Faker looked bad, but it was because of everything else falling apart and him." Because like it was either he does nothing and they lose, and they just slowly fall over, or Hail Mary.
Try and win when it's 80-20 rather than
than just handing it over regardless. So I respect it. Now, granted, as a whole, it definitely wasn't Faker's best series, but like that game, people were trying to pin on Faker, and there's a much bigger microcosm of things. It wasn't just as easy as Faker entered on a Collie. Part of it was the drafting. Like that was the problem. They didn't realize, okay, well, wait, guys, if Fiora loses this 1v1, what's the backup plan with this comp? And that's the problem, was there wasn't. Yeah. They're like, I guess we die now. So game 4 goes on, and yeah, Kingen just smurfs. Yeah. Like solo carries that game. And it's just like you just want to like close your eyes, like this is so sad. Like GG, go next. So then it's baffling when game 5 comes around. They leave Aatrox open in bans, so they're like, okay, well, surely, because I'm pretty sure SKT was blue side.
Yeah, okay, why is blue side a little bit more, like, favored? Like, why do you like starting on blue side? Because they were like, they're going to pick blue side here, so they're going to have to win on red. Like, what does that mean?
Well, because up until that point, in that series, blue side was 4-0. So the reason blue side is so strong is because they get first pick. So the way the picks and bans work, there's 5 picks for a team, obviously. Each team goes back and forth to ban 3 champs to start. Then first pick goes to blue side, but they only get to pick 1. But blue side gets first pick. So in this case, if something gets through the pick bans, like Aatrox in this instance, okay, we can first pick them. Something that is either giga busted or we want to take away from the enemy. We want to
like
use
if you want the
also,
cat wizard support.
Yeah. Which also generally like they're confident enough that like there's not too many of an answer for this person, or if there is, they can draft around it. So the thinking was like, oh, okay, they let him through. I guess they'll grab Aatrox. And then I think they first picked Karma.
Let me I'll look because I have it open right.
I just remember watching like what was happening, and I think it was even the casters were like, "Oh,
like
okay,
Karma."
And then the entire chat was like GG, 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 GG,
yeah,
GG, GG, and just like every chatter was like, what a garbage pick phase for them.
Now, what is Karma support? Like, what is
support?
Okay.
And not even like a highly contested support.
That's what I was gonna say. It says right here her pick rate as they pick it, because it says like 5% pick rate, 4% ban. So it's like not even.
Yeah, it's not like it was a thing where like we need to grab this right now, otherwise they'll grab. Like no one was like, yeah, let's make sure we get Karma. So to first pick Karma on blue side, you get that first pick advantage, and that's what they chose. It was baffling because then DRX just locks in Aatrox and whoever. And so at that point,
they actually didn't lock in Aatrox then.
Well,
they picked Azir and Caitlyn.
Oh yeah. Well, so they let the Caitlyn through. That was
is Caitlyn really good?
She's an AD carry, and specifically to Deft is really good with Caitlyn. She can be super oppressive in lane. And so, yeah, I think that's also why it was baffling, because then they kept going, still didn't pick Aatrox. DRX gets Aatrox. And it's like, after that last game, like, I wouldn't even, it's like, no, guys, I got it. I would just, like, ban it. Not even give
Like,
it a
that's your
chance.
first ban. Like,
Yeah, like, don't even be like,
we
oh, guys.
We clearly can't handle this, y'all. Like,
Yeah, you got gapped. All right, like, just accept it. Don't even worry about this Giga Busted thing. So they take it again.
yeah,
And
so
then Zeus goes Gwyn to try and counter
that's the
again.
Scissor Lady. I was about to ask who
Mhm.
Scissor Lady is.
Scissor Lady, I'm a big fan of her. But pick that in the comp. And so they go through it all eventually. Game 5 starts. Spoilers, Kingen again pops off in Aatrox. Zeus gets absolutely gapped again. And the problem, too, was that SKT's comp had a glaring issue where they had, I think, no hard CC except for, I think, like, Karma Tether, which, like, is nothing. So they don't have any hard engage. They're already losing to these, and then the pick potential on direct. Like, the problem is, and this can happen in League, and it's harder to see when you're not as seasoned, but there are games that, like, after pick and ban, you can almost have a pretty good idea of who's going to win just looking at comps. And that was game 4 and 5. Like, they just got gapped in pick and draft. And the thing, too, is technically it should have ended after game 4 because SKT got some, like, crazy Baron steals. 3 of them, too, with just Varus arrows. And DRX, mental of steel. I don't know how they're not tilted off face of the earth. I would have been, especially at my jungler.
In game 5? Why are you
No,
specifically tilted at the jungler?
Well, they got one stolen game 5, but I think it was game 3 where SKT ended up winning, I think, or something like that, because they had Varus double Q sniped it in one game against Callista and a jungler, which, for those that don't know, is pretty much the freest way of guaranteeing a Baron if you start it. Because Callista, every auto she does, she, like, throws a spear and it sticks into the target and it stacks infinitely while she's still attacking it. And then she has an ability called Rend where she rips all the spears out and it scales on how many spears she's put into it. So, for instance, with Baron, if you start it, Callista typically towards the end can Rend for over 2,000 damage. Combine that with Smite, and that's like 3,000 damage instant pop. The enemy team has nothing they can do about it.
You can do 5,000 damage in the span of 5 seconds. Like,
It's no, I mean, like 3,000 damage literally instantly.
okay.
You click Rend and you click Smite at the same time, 3,000 health. That's it. So that's why you can secure Baron with
Baron
that.
has what,
setup
like
so easily.
10,000?
I think it's 20,000 or
Okay.
something. But the point is, when it gets down to it, there's no burst damage that beats that. Like, there's no Smite. Smite only does like 950 or whatever. You
and you
can't
can't really react when once it's past a certain threshold. You just can't do anything about it.
Yeah. And so, now granted, that's different if Callista and them didn't start it because she can't stack her spears. But they started Baron both times, and Varus sniped it both times with just an arrow, which granted a lot of damage. But both times, I think jungler still had Smite. So,
Like, what are you holding it for?
well, so it's some coordination failure. Because it should literally just be like 3, 2, 1. You both click your
Steal
ability at the same time. Like, that's it. And so, yeah, both times it was stolen, his Smite was still up. So they either didn't, like, it could have been Callista not coordinating. Who knows? Maybe he panicked and didn't say it in time, and so then the jungler's like, oh, what? Either way, it's something that shouldn't have happened. So, like, to lose that and then still come back and win the next couple, like, oh my god, I would have been in the stratosphere by that point. I would have been like, just like, let's get on the bus. I'm going home. So that's really micro stuff in those 4 and 5 games with pick and draft, which I think is where SKT got gapped the hardest. Their read or whatever it just wasn't good.
My favorite is when the Baron steal happened in game 5. You can literally hear the commentator go, "What the fuck?" Like it is so fucking funny. I literally like sat there. I was like, "Did I just hear him say that, or was that me say?" Because I was like, "Oh my god, like, no way!" Like,
a most worth find ever. And there's like perspectives that have come out, clips of the caster's desk, because they have like cameras on them. It's not shown during broadcast or
Yeah,
anything, but it's
obviously.
hilarious to see them all freaking out and stuff. And yeah, like the fact that they still lost that game. I mean, but the thing was like, it was just the games were so good.
Question: what does the Elder Dragon do? Because like
It's
like
busted, yeah.
yeah, what does the Elder Dragon do?
So the point of Elder is, so after somebody gets Dragon Soul, which means you've stacked 4 dragons, you've got 4 dragons. So theoretically, 7 dragons can spawn before Elder, or 4. It just depends on how many, like if the teams are back and forth on dragon picks. But as soon as someone takes Dragon Soul, every dragon from there on out is Elder Dragon. And Elder Dragon is a dragon where you kill it, it gives you the Elder Dragon buff, as well as, this might have changed since I played, but it also enhances the previous buff you've gotten from other dragons. That's not as important as the fact that you get Elder buff. Elder buff lasts like 2 minutes or something. And what it does is when you attack somebody, it applies like a short explosion with a damage over time effect. And then if you damage somebody under a threshold, like 15% health or something, you can actually see it when somebody starts attacking it. A little like pip comes up. And if you have Elder buff and hit them to that, it just executes them. You like throw a dragon shout at them, and they just blow up. So when somebody gets Elder Dragon buff, you do not want to fight, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to lose.
But they're pushing my base, Christian. Like, what am I? But like,
yeah, so like
what
you
do
don't have a choice. But they also implemented that many seasons ago, and I'm glad they did, because it put urgency in the game. The problem was, especially for a couple of years, the meta games were so slow because you didn't have things to fight over. But when they finally added these like dragons that give big things, and then Elder, you can't just like handshake that and let it go off. So that's when games accelerate really quickly if they've already been going for a long time, once like Elder buff is up, because that can almost be a game changer in itself. Or nobody even takes it, but the fight around it that was caused just by the pressure of Elder can decide a game. So yeah, it gets down to that, and then at that point it was like, all right, well.
Yeah, I totally forgot that like Faker in Game 5 tried to like go into their base into like a back cap or something like that.
Yeah, he was again desperate. Like, writing was on the walls. Unfortunately, there was only so much they could do. But still, even like the little back door for a second, it was like, oh
yeah, it was like, wait a second.
Yeah, it didn't work, but it was sick. And so yeah, we got 5 games. Couldn't be happier. Even the 5th game, like thankfully too, like the 5th game wasn't like a, oh, it's over. Like the Baron still made it insane. So yeah, as a League fan, could not be happier, because leading up to that too, the game, almost all the series in this world were just bangers. So to end it like that,
You think it's good for the player base?
Oh, 100%. There's tons of people.
I mean,
even you're like, I got the itch now.
Yeah, like I want to play.
And you're not alone.
Who else got the itch?
A lot of people. Well, I mean, just tons of people watching. Like, that's what League, because League for also the longest time operated.
But just know my games ain't gonna look like that. Like I stink.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be Fiesta. But yeah, League forever operated under a loss on the esport too, because they see it as just like advertisement.
Do they still have it as a loss?
At this point, probably not. Especially with all the sponsors and stuff.
I mean, like it's
like they didn't take sponsors.
Beast of Mastercard Baron Steel.
Yeah.
Like,
but they didn't take sponsors or anything for like years.
And then Mastercard's like, hey, here's like $500 million. Like, okay.
But this Worlds, in fact, had the highest viewership concurrent of any Worlds at like 5.1 million or something, not including China. China's numbers are completely different. Now, granted, it probably didn't beat the max concurrent, but that's because
China
no
wasn't
Chinese
in.
teams were in the finals. Yeah, and it was a bad time for China. That's why like last year, it was like, probably leagues like wet dream because China won. It was like the most favorite Chinese team at the time. It was, I think, like in China or whatever, so it was like perfect time zone. Yeah, and the numbers there were just insane. Pardon your regularly scheduled podcast listening for this short ad break.
With the crazy time that holiday season brings around, it's the perfect time to plan ahead with Factor, a ready-to-eat meal delivery. They shop, prep, cook, and deliver to your door so you can enjoy chef-crafted, delicious meals during the holidays, minus the hassle. Plus, with 34 meals per week, including Gourmet Plus, Keto Calorie Smart Vegan Plus Veggie options, and 36 plus weekly add-ons, you'll have plenty of nutritious, flavorful options to choose from. You guys know when it comes to Factor, Christian and Blue and I love the chicken poblano. That was our absolute favorite, and it still is. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals make it easy to fuel up fast when I'm on the go, and I save time with my meals delivered ready to heat in just under 2 minutes. Head to go.factor75.com/GG60 and use code GG60 to get 60% off your first box. Head to go.factor75.com/GG60 to get 60% off your first box. The holidays are almost here, and there is plenty of t-shirt cheer thanks to our sponsor, True Classic Tees. Fellas, we have the perfect gift for your wish list. True Classic Tees are the gift for you, for her, and a great present for any guy in your life. True Classic is on a mission to maximize men's confidence by making them look good and fresh. Trust me when I say this is the gift that the ladies will appreciate too. Sometimes I'm not really feeling my greatest, and then I put on a True Classic t-shirt and it fits me just so perfectly. It doesn't like show my gut or anything like that. True Classic has already helped over 2 million men look great in their tees, and now you can save big while you do so. Get 25% off at trueclassic.com/GG. Free shipping included on purchases over $100. That's 25% off at trueclassic.com/GG. Santa won't be the only one slaying thanks to True Classic.
But as far as everyone else in the world, was hype enough for so many people to tune in. And yeah, it made me even more sad I didn't go. It would have been legendary.
Real quick tangent. Did you guys see all the drama with FTX and all that kind of stuff? Okay, so FTX filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy this morning. Because of some juicy drama. This is some stock drama. Mr. Fruit will love this. Okay, so FTX, right? You would assume, I mean, there's FTX Arena, TSM FTX.
TSM,
I'll be really interested to see if TSM has to still have FTX in there. Because that was like a $500 million deal or something like that. Like, it was something crazy. Okay, so
actually, yeah, I don't know how that works, but
so FTX is worth like a lot of money, right? And they're like in the crypto thing, right? So basically, Coinbase is like a place where people go and check coin prices, like the NASDAQ kind of thing for coins. Anyways, the CEO has a bunch of FTF tokens. Now, FTX uses those tokens as a way of like paying people or something like that in their own kind of way. And the CEO of Coinbase basically told everybody, hey, I'm about to offload all of my FTX coin. Now and that's like $600 million worth of like FTX coin, something like that.
Some cash.
Now, Christian, how would you think people who are holding FTX coin would react to that news?
Probably panicking.
Yeah, and panicking, selling back their FTX coin, or also trying to get rid of it before
the big dip.
Yeah. So everybody starts going for FTX coins. All of a sudden, FTX cancels withdrawals. FTX doesn't have the, I guess, liquidity is the word I'm looking for, to pay back all the people that are asking for the FTF tokens.
Well, that was kind of the whole thing with like GameStop and stuff too. Like if that did really happen, everyone pulled out, like the money wasn't even there. So
it was never there to begin with.
Like with Robinhood, that's kind of why they were like,
Is Robinhood still a thing?
Yeah.
Like you trade on Robinhood still?
No, but I know it's still a thing.
Okay.
I got Charles Schwab.
Oh, you're a Charles Schwab kind of guy.
Yeah, I don't trade much anymore, but also I'm just
The day
more
trade
confident with my
fruit
money over
is gone.
I mean, it pretty much only lasted with the meme stocks.
It was fun. It was fun while it
Yeah.
lasted, though.
And and that's the thing is like once you're in it, like I'm not gonna pretend I'm a day trader. Like that doesn't happen. That was gambling. That's what it was.
It was
I
just
gambling, you know?
like
I'm not gonna kid myself. So unfortunately, that's been the problem is that other people didn't realize that and have been trying, and also don't realize that like what was happening
then
is not normal. That's just not how it works all the time.
they're like Bed Bath and Beyond, baby. Like, also
To
what
the
we were
moon.
saying is not financial advice in the
Yeah,
slide.
not financial advice.
But I just thought it was really funny, the whole FTX story. That, you know, there's FTX Arena. That's like the Miami arena now. Like, it'll just be super interesting to just see what happens to FTX. I saw a thing. It was like, if you shorted all, what does shorting mean, by the way? Does that mean you're just pretty much betting against that company to like shut down?
Or well, just what you're betting against whatever the predicted outcome is, or like high or low. Usually shorting, yeah, is like they're here, but I think in X amount of time or whatever. You know, yeah, it's always like betting against somebody.
Okay, so
Which is why everyone was shorting GameStop. All the people because they're like GameStop's dying. Like,
and by people you
writings
mean
on
the hedge
wall.
fund billionaires are putting billions of dollars into shorting stock.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was like if you put $1,000 into each short of companies that were featured in the 2020 Super Bowl, you would have made like $1 million. It was like FTX, like Domino, you know, oh, DoorDash, Uber Eats, like it was all these like. It's just really crazy to see what is happening in the crypto world. Thank God that I have never dabbled in. I bought $20 worth of Bitcoin when PayPal introduced it like 6 years ago. That $20 is now like $28. So, you know,
Let's go.
you know, I consider myself a little bit of a trader.
I dabble. That's yeah, I'm interested. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they'll be able to ride this out somehow. But that's what I think they're trying to damage control and.
Yeah, basically the CEO on for FTX came on Twitter and was basically like, I fucked up. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
forgive me. That's so dumb.
Go
But it's
ahead.
got to be like, I'd be surprised if it's not some sort of like insider trading or stuff. Because like, with that much influence, like people kind of talk about like Elon. It's like memeing. He's like, oh, do this, but like, he then puts in money, manipulates it by just like back then, you know, it's like.
You're saying by like the Coinbase guy? Like the Coinbase guy
Yeah.
knew if he like traded it, he was like, I could.
Or maybe even didn't, but that would still be, I think, negligence. Like, at some point, and I think you could probably, you know, if you took him to court or whatever, argue that he knew.
So it's that little part of the financial part I'll never be in, but.
Speaking of Elon,
Oh,
this dude is just getting absolutely clowned on at every corner. And like, as much as I am not on, like fully on the Elon hate train, I definitely understand. Like this is like a dude who's playing with daddy's money, and is quickly realizing, wow, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to social media business. And he keeps trying, and then he's like, yeah, Twitter's gonna do a bunch of stupid things. If you don't like it, then it'll pull out. But little does he realize, I mean, actually he does realize it, because apparently reports are this dude's like, I'm bleeding money here. And part of the reason he's bleeding money is because the buyout of Twitter was
44 billion.
Yeah, so a lot of that is bleeding because he could not go through with it. And then just like every like business person, just every dude who is like, yeah, I do some crazy fucking stock trading shit, every single person is like, what's gonna happen is he's gonna do all of these things over the next couple months. He's gonna just absolutely try everything he can on Twitter to try and recoup his money. and he's going to quickly realize, like, he's going to quickly go back to all Twitter's old policies and realize, huh, so there was a reason those people
Yeah.
they did that, and it's I'm
Which is like what
fully
he's
ready
doing with
for
like
it.
the whole like verifying thing.
Yeah, and then the whole verify thing. It's like,
that is
okay,
like
it's like, oh, it's a cute idea on paper, but making it the exact same verify, the exact same symbol, and the only way you see that it's different is if you look at them, if you go on their profile and then click on their verified icon, is like, bruh. What's the whole point of even having verification if it's clear that you just paid for it through Twitter Blue? And then two, the entire point of verification, verifying that you're real, is a moot point when people can just buy your likeness before you do, or buy something similar to your likeness. And all it takes is one tweet, and it's that someone like is like, oh wow, that's actually real. Like, that's all they need. It's like, okay, so you delete it later because it's not a parody, but it's like, well, the damage was probably already done because some people are suckers. Most people obviously on Twitter realize that's not how that works. Most people are like, haha, this is
I
stupid
don't
and
know,
funny.
Blue. You'd be surprised how stupid people are. Like,
Well, that's
I
what I'm
think you.
saying. Is there's a lot of dumb people.
Yeah.
But most people who see it, who are like internet connoisseurs, are probably like just getting clowned on. Like, this poor man, who is not poor at all. He's actually rich as fuck and makes
Yeah,
all his money off the backs of people who work harder than him. Is just getting absolutely clowned on because of poor decisions. And really, the Twitter acquisition alone was already a poor decision by him posturing, and then him realizing, wow, I have to do this now, huh? Well, shit. Time to make back as much money as I possibly can and try to
Twitter
stop Twitter from
Blue?
bleeding.
My actions have
Lay off as
consequences.
many employees as I can. Hey, Elon, we don't have employees for this idea. But hire him back ASAP, bro. Just the absolute clown fiesta.
But
I
like,
don't know how Twitter is gonna. I don't even know if Twitter's gonna be in its current, like, Twitter as we know it in 6 months. But I
dude,
know
but
that
what's gonna
if the
replace
ship's
it
going
though?
down, I mean, nothing probably. If Twitter does go down, then someone will make either something else, or someone else will buy Twitter because Elon will be like, I gotta get this out of here. Because Twitter
And then
does
tell the
still
huge
have,
loss.
yeah, and a massive loss, but Twitter itself is obviously has such a massive, what's the
Yeah,
word,
it's
cultural impact that it's not. I don't think Twitter is gonna go away completely, but Twitter as we know it is definitely going to be going through a whole lot of shit over the next couple months.
Well, right now, I was looking at like my feed. I believe right now, every 3 tweets is a sponsored thing or an advertisement.
do you
And
have
then
it on
also,
latest or like for the timeline for you one? Like, which do you have?
I've tried both.
Okay.
Just sponsored things everywhere. And then on top
Sponsored,
of
do you
that,
mean like ads?
yeah, like literally tweets that are like it says like
And
sponsored.
then also people themselves buying sponsored tweets.
Yeah, and then on top of that too, I'm only seeing like the same 1 or 2 people. Like, I can't even, because I think it's part of this whole, like, if you get Twitter Blue or you're not verified or something, like, you just don't show up. And that's the thing is, for me, it's a bummer. I mean, it's like, oh, Twitter was a cesspool. I never used it to argue or be political. I used to like catch up with friends and message. So for me, I'm like, bruh.
Like stuff you're doing like content wise.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Twitter was the cool
What's going
Facebook
on?
because
And now
Facebook
it's-
just turned into hyper cesspool boomer. Let's throw a bunch of conspiracy theories out. Also, we're old. And then Twitter was like, well, Twitter's like, oh, well, everyone uses Twitter because Twitter's just like, it's not meant to be taken seriously. It's like, oh, let's just like throwing out thoughts into the void. And now it's hey, do you want to pay for throwing out thoughts in the void? Also, if you don't pay for throwing out thoughts in the void, your thoughts are going into the void.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then they really are. That's exactly what it is right now. I mean, we'll see. Like, he keeps changing things so often. It reminded me, I saw a tweet from one of the pharmaceutical companies who like pretty much monopolizes insulin, and someone faked the account with like Twitter
Oh
Blue and said
yeah.
insulin is now free or whatever. And it was like hours and virality later that I think it got taken down, but like just like that.
Well, it's just like people
Like-
like when Arios made Home Depot. You know, Arios was doing this way before everybody else.
Yeah,
Just
true.
another thing Arios did before the mainstream media.
He's ahead of
Eros
his
was
time.
just trying to proof it for Elon ahead of time, you know, and Elon didn't listen. Shame on him.
It's just strange knowing exactly what's going to happen.
Hey,
Knowing that it's Elon is going to do all these things, but eventually is just going to go right back to where Twitter was in the first place before, like when he bought it.
all right,
Just
I
at
have-
massive loss now.
can I ask you guys a
What's up?
Pokemon question?
Oh, go on. Sorry, what?
Calm down, boy, down.
You're telling me it took 25 years for Ash to win a world championship?
Well, he won in
won
Sun
the
and
WoW one.
Moon.
Yeah.
But now he like, because this was like the tournament of champions. Like this is pretty much the big redeeming, like, oh, well, he could never become a champion, finally becomes a champion. Oh, this is the tournament of the best of the best of the franchise, and he wins. So it's a pretty big deal. I mean,
His team looks dope though. Like they posted.
they
like,
got
his team.
they put some absolute
I don't know
best
what
of the best
the.
fan favorites for this team.
I don't know what the. I don't know. It looks like a snake plant thing. It has. I don't know.
The what?
It looks like a snake, but like a plant. It has like a red thing on its head. It has like a teardrop shaped head, but it's huge. It's like ginormous looking.
Are you good, bro?
I'm trying to like explain what the Pokemon looks like to me. It has like a mouth. It looks like a plant. It's like green and red and like a little bit blue.
Oh, you mean Dracovish? Like
oh,
on the left
Dracovish.
above Farfetch'd or Surfetch'd?
Yes.
He's
Yeah,
a fossil
Dracovish,
Pokemon.
dude, classic. He's also
Ooh, what is that? I've never seen that.
meme tier Pokemon. That is so Dracovish is like became super popular off of how broken it was, because it's a one trick Pokemon that just does it, like it does nothing else but do this vicious Ren thing. That just nukes. It's a water type move. It nukes. That's the only move Dracovish ever uses. It just became super popular because it was just meme tier, just brute force.
What is it?
Does one thing. It is literally an abomination.
Yeah, I'm
That's,
literally looking at it. What is this thing?
That is the Pokedex entry for the entire
He's like a homunculus.
yeah, the Sword and Shield fossil line is like humanity fucked up by trying to fuse fossils together and bring them back to life. So Dracovish is literally the half
Kill
bottom,
me, like
literally. Actually, yeah, that's literally the concept. So the bottom half is a dinosaur bottom, and the top half is a fish head.
yeah, that's an L for me, Pokemon.
I love Dracovish. It's
That's
so
a-
meme tier that it works.
But he got
then-
Gengar, Dragonite, Lucario. Like, is that even
Yeah,
fair?
they put some slappers in for the entire purpose of him winning this. I kind of expected him to win because his team is so stacked right now.
Like if he can't win now, he'll never win.
Like, what did he do with his like little toad guy?
Who knows? He throws away his Pokemon. Oh, Greninja.
Yeah.
Greninja had a cameo this time, but they kind of retconned.
Is he like Mr.
Greninja,
Mime? Is he at home just like working and cooking and stuff?
So because I peruse the Pokemon anime from time to time, Greninja stayed to protect the Kalos region.
What a
So
nice guy.
he's a noble ninja warrior back at home. He did have a little cameo this season though. So
Oh.
Hey, good for him. The people's champion, the Pokemon's champion.
I was just curious. What you guys' thoughts were on that as Pokemon fans. If you guys want to say anything to Ash,
I will say
Yeah.
it did hit me in the feels the way they did the dub, like well, not the dub, but it did hit me in the feels the way they did the win. I have to say.
I didn't watch it.
Why is that? Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
No, you just gotta. I'll link it on Twitter, but it got me in my feels. For those of you that saw it,
Is it like one of those like Charizard seismic tosses where Charizard is like going up and he's finally listening to Ash type of shit?
it was like that scene in Naruto where he's making that final Rasengan.
Yeah, good one.
It was like the.
Dude.
But Fruit, you finished Naruto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that final Rasengan where like all of his home, like everyone's making the Rasengan with him. It was like one of those feel type moments.
I think I saw pictures of that. I was wondering what that was. Yeah, that would have got me in the feels too.
Yeah, it hit me hard. I mean, it didn't hit me hard, but it hit me like, get his ass, Pikachu. Get his ass.
Go on.
Go on, son.
It's your time.
You guys want to give your quick opinion on God of War if you've played it?
I'm like 11 hours in and so sick.
Yeah.
I've never played God of War.
Oh.
But I do love the lore behind it, and I do watch everyone playing through it. So I am caught up on the story of God of War. Love the God of War story. Never played it.
I will say. Oh, go ahead.
From my perspective of simply spectating God of War, being a vehement spectator, that shit slapped.
And so far this one do be slapping.
There is maybe Christian will know what I'm alluding to. There's like a Deadpool fourth wall kind of moment in one of the first sequences of the game. And it's really sick. Come on, stick with me here.
Give me a hint or something.
He tells you when you're done. No. It's a quick time action event.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, that was really sick.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I guess I like fucked it. Like I was really going. Like I swear.
I was the same way. I was like, what the fudge?
Yeah, that was really sick.
Yeah.
Did you? I gotta ask. Did you cry